Hello everyone. As you may have guessed from the title of this video, today we'll talk about something known as overclocking in a resonator. But before that, let's talk about what a resonator actually is. Basically, resonators are beings that can resonate with certain objects and manipulate their frequencies. Now, I'm mentioning them as beings because it seems someone doesn't need to be a human to be a resonator. Like Shorekeeper, for example, is a being of pure remnant energy, and Lingyang, who may be the last of the mythical beast Swanis. Now, something that resonators sometimes go through is mutation, or as some may call it, corruption. So, this arises a question: is mutation just a random thing, or does it have a purpose? Changes, like the feather like hair of Yang Yang, scales of Motifi and Jinshi, or the plants on Varina's body, are all results of such mutations. Now, not every character necessarily goes through these mutations, but the possibility always remains. Though this thing might be pretty obvious to some players by now, but one theory that I have is this mutation is not just something that is happening to the resonators at random, but they are sort of evolutions that are taking place in the resonator's body to allow them to use their forte better. This can also be backed up if we go with the theory that Linguang is actually the last of the Swanis, as this theory would explain why he has such human-like appearance despite being from a unique lineage of beasts. Also, just in case if you're wondering, no, his tail and his fur are not parts or results of mutation. This is something that is actually pretty evidently mentioned in his Rebel examination report, as you can see on your screens. Right now, I have seen only two ways through which a resonator can mutate. Either the resonator is born with the mutation, or they would go through that mutation when they are overclocking. Now, coming to the main topic of this video, overclocking. Overclocking is something that can be triggered by a resonator under extreme levels of stress, emotional instability, fear, or mostly other negative emotions. The risk the overclocking poses and the damage it causes are very largely dependent on the forte itself. And that's the general idea of overclocking. But there's another perspective of how you can see overclocking. So, the real circumstances under which overclocking actually occurs remains largely unknown. But something we do know is that it is mostly triggered during life-threatening situations. So, what if, instead of emotional instability or fear resulting in overclocking, it's actually the opposite? What if overclocking is the phenomenon that is causing the emotional instability and fear, or the other negative emotions, let's say? So, what I mean to say is, overclocking of a resonator can very well be a desperate measure of their own body to save themselves. How? Well, by shooting their own resonance ability into an overdrive, they would gain the power to defend themselves, but it would also result in an emotional and unstable mental state. And that is actually something that our own brains do pretty often. When our brain senses danger, in order to protect itself, the brain can sometimes cause harm to its own body, knowingly or unknowingly. One example of this can be how adrenaline can block pain in cases of emergencies and allow you to keep going despite being gravely injured at times. Now, though this phenomenon of overclocking is in no way, shape, or form beneficial for the resonator, well, that is according to the information that we have right now, it can still be exploited by those who seek more power or, let's just say, want to accomplish their ideals, no matter how twisted they may be. But that's a topic for another video. So, like and subscribe if you like videos like this and want to support the channel. Also, press the bell icons if you would like to get notifications of the new videos.